Hi guys, I'm now in Vienna, in the street of the Serbian embassy. I call for European Serbia. That will be my activity in the coming weeks. And I call for Serbia to recognize Kosovo. That's the most important. To be ready for peace with Austria and to overcome our past sins and to make a dialogue with Austria for our crimes in the First and Second World War, but also overcome the crimes of Yugoslavia and the Balkan Wars, and to be ready together to join NATO and to also bring the Balkans step by step, first in NATO and also then in the European Union. Of course, first the NATO allies and then later the countries who are first joining NATO, like I hope that Serbia will join NATO. That's of course the case, but my first request is for NATO and Bosnia to be safe from Serbian aggression. I don't say that Serbia is trying to organize war now, but it's possible. And we don't want to have this situation in Europe anymore. We have already war with Russia, and Serbia is unfortunately on the wrong side. So Serbia, please close your airspace, support the EU sanctions against Russia, and also close and cut the ties with Russia. That's very important in the energy and trade sector. Cut the free trade agreement with Russia, and also then stop bullying your smaller nations in the region, or the smaller nations like Montenegro, Kosovo and Bosnia, because that's what you're doing. And also treat your minorities better, like the Albanians and the Bosnians in Sanjak and Preševo. That's unacceptable what you're doing. We treat the Serbs very good here in Austria. And if you have any complaints, let's have a dialogue. I'm very much for Austrian-Serbian dialogue for peace. Austria should do more for peace, and that would be very good if we can do that. And that's why I started this initiative for European Serbia with Austrian help. We want to have this dialogue to understand our own colonial sins in the past, the 19th century. I'm deeply sorry for that. For the First and for the Second World War, I'm deeply sorry. But also the disasters of Yugoslavia, which committed so many horrible crimes. And then also in the Balkan Wars, where Serbia itself committed so many horrible crimes in the 4 wars against Kosovo, Bosnia, Croatia, Serbia. All this must be lifted and discussed and make it with an international historical truth commission to be clearly also in the school books of Serbia, that the children learn about the crimes like we learned about the crimes of our grandfathers. And I don't say that you were the Nazis of the Balkans in the 90s, but it was very similar in many ways. And that Mr. Vucic then goes to Jasenovac, wants to go to Jasenovac to somehow counterbalance all the crimes of the past, is very wrong. Each crime must be individually addressed and must be improved and must be understood and must be well documented in order to be ready for the common future in NATO and the European Union. Again, I offer my peace feelers out here to the Serbs. Please, if you recognize Kosovo, you can get immediately the euro as currency and also then join NATO. That can all go very fast, and we will protect you, Mr. Vucic. You will not be killed like Mr. Djindjic from Putin's terror regime sponsored guys, but you will be protected by Europe. Have no doubts. If you want to turn to the West, Europe is ready for you. If you want to stay with the East and think it's better and see who wins in Ukraine, then you make a big mistake. Don't do that. Join the West, join the free world, and adopt European Serbian policy. I put the 10 items out, from Ukraine sanctions to Kosovo recognitions to Bosnia in NATO, Kosovo in NATO. Leave the Montenegrinians to join the EU and don't impose any Serb Orthodox imperialist church policy on them. And stop Open Balkans, because we anyhow will destroy it now. And please, join the West and cut the ties with the East. That's the way forward. And European Serbia will be very successful. Thanks a lot, and for European Serbia. Bye.